concept. Okay, this one is from the Wikiversity. Okay, the title is Introduction to, the title of the article from which I lifted this excerpt is Introduction to Critical Pedagogy. It's defined as a teaching approach inspired by critical theory and other radical philosophies which attempt to help students question and challenge positive domination and to undermine the beliefs and practices that are alleged to dominate. This is one of the things that come to mind whenever I encounter the term domination in critical pedagogy literature. Halimbawa, one of the things that come to mind, halimbawa, may bago tayong presidente, okay, and somebody has been appointed to run the Department of Education. Say, for example, Bongbong Marcos becomes the president. Okay, he appoints someone to run the Department of Education. He is not happy with the contents of the history books or the Araling Panlipunan books. What could you expect from the department if that happens? There will be a revision of textbooks, okay, and certain contents of the textbooks, of course, will be altered according to the expectations of the president of the Republic of the Philippines, and that illustrates the idea of domination. Who dominates the scene? Okay, he has a say as to what should be taught, what should be included, the sort of changes that must be introduced, okay, in the curriculum for different areas of study. Okay, say for example, if you are out to maintain the status quo, you don't want people, okay, to be restive, to be dissatisfied, to be taught how to question the status quo, to find reasons to air their discontent. Of course, the sort of values that will be introduced among students, especially in public schools, will be the ones that, okay, are not in conflict with the aim of maintaining the status quo. But from the vantage point of critical pedagogy, that is not a case of liberating education. Ang purpose niya, ang purpose ng ganong education is to confine the students to a certain mode of thinking. And this is one of the things that critical pedagogy would like to combat, would like to, one of the matters that critical pedagogy would like to address. Okay. If you are familiar with the values education textbook, okay, halimbawa, status quo maintenance yung sinasabi ko a while ago. There are portions of the ESP textbooks na nagtuturo ng pakikisama, pakikipagkapwa, pakikiayon. Hindi tinuturo yung magduda, magtanong, mag-counter, mag-demand ng ebidensya. There's no portion in values education textbooks for public school students in which they are encouraged not to accept just any belief, if there are no good reasons for them to accept a belief. We learn, as philosophers, okay, we learn this we learn this from many philosophers, and one of whom is William Clifford. He said it is always wrong anywhere for anyone to believe anything upon insufficient evidence. But I think that is too much, of course. I will have more to say about that. But we could modify that. We could modify that so that children, okay, would develop the habit of suspending their belief of removing themselves from the box and survey first the landscape before they make any final decision. Students and teachers can always study textbooks without necessarily committing to what the textbooks are saying. We can always study socialism, communism, Buddhism without necessarily agreeing to the things that these isms are saying. We could perfectly understand what these books or approximate what these isms are saying, okay, without necessarily agreeing to everything that these isms are saying. So yun ang isa sa mga ideals ng critical pedagogy ulit. In another work, Ira Shore is also a well-known critical pedagogue. Okay, he said, critical pedagogy, okay, is habits of thought, reading, writing, and speaking, which go beneath the surface meaning. First impressions, dominant myths, okay, and so on, and mere opinions to understand the deep meaning, root causes, social context, ideology, etc. Okay. Now, there is an excerpt here that I want you to read. It's from a guy, whose name is Franz Fanon, okay, whose observation about something illustrates Ira Shore's definition of critical pedagogy. Okay, Fanon educates us about a certain language education that is foreign to the dominated class. Okay, I don't want to say more about it. Okay, you might have to come closer. This is not meant to be read fast. Okay, but it's in English. This kind of literature. Okay. So here it is. Who's familiar with Franz Fanon? No one. Okay, but he will make a good read. If you want some examples, for the things that Ira Shore was saying about critical pedagogy. Okay, ano sinabi niya? An isolated individual may obstinately refuse to understand the problem, but the group or the village understands with disconcerting rapidity. It is true that if care is taken to use only a language that is understood by graduates in law and economics, you can easily prove that the masses have to be managed from above. Yung language na sinasabi niya ay yung language ng tinatawag na school, people. Imagine a doctor talking, speaking like a doctor to someone, okay, who did not graduate from elementary school. Madali mo talagang palabasin na you are somewhere above that person. If you are a boss, okay, running a certain business, and you talk in English to your workers, it's one way to shut their mouth. Don't answer me, because if you will answer me, you'll have to speak in English. It's easy to dominate, okay, people using language. That's the point of Franz Fanon. But he was saying that if only you will speak to the low-income people using their language, okay, you will find that they are as smart as you are, despite your being a lawyer, doctor, or whatever. So, this reminds us of the issue about Filipino, yung removal ng Filipino as a subject, from college. When I speak with my colleagues, or teachers in elementary school and high school, would speak with their colleagues, most of them do not speak in English. Okay, nearly all of them do not speak in English. They use the language, of of their local environment. In Manila, it's Filipino. Now, I do not mean to say that Filipino should be imposed on people in Davao, because when I posted something about this, no, I want Filipino to be retained in the tertiary education curriculum, but I did not mean to suggest that Filipino should be imposed on people in Davao, Cebu, Bohol, in Pampanga. No, they should use their own language. No, mahirap mag-organize ng tao to protect the interests of the workers if you have never been trained to use your own language. But this is one way to dominate a class, according to Franz Fanon. Get them to use the language that is alien to their culture and structure. Structure in the language of critical pedagogy means your background, your religion, economic background, age, yung religious persuasions mo, morality mo, etc. Okay? Yun ang ibig sabihin ng structure in critical pedagogy. No, may mga variants yan, but more or less, ito ang general idea ng structure. Okay? Which could limit the agency. No? It's an important term in critical pedagogy. Agency, the capability of the person to freely express himself or herself, or to choose the person that he or she wants to be. It's not easy for people, for the oppressed people, it is said in critical pedagogy, to choose the person that they want to be, because their power, their resources are limited. You might want to become a doctor, but if you are a member of an impoverished family, you do not have highly placed connections, you wouldn't probably go that far unless you are so lucky to have been blessed, with unexpected opportunities. Pero konti lang yung mga batang nagkakaroon ng mga ganitong unexpected blessings. We've heard of children from impoverished families who were sent to Harvard to study. But they got scholarship and were sent to international school in Manila. And from there, nagkaroon ng mga bagong opportunities which they exploited, and now they are in Boston University, they are in Harvard University, and soon they are returning. Konting-konti lang yung mga ganitong estudyante. But there are many students who are not so lucky, to have been blessed with these opportunities, and despite their grit, they were not able to go that far. There's a book titled Grit, right? I and some of my colleagues are not really a fan of the book Grit. Marami kasing mahihirap na tao na despite their grit, wala pa ring significant na nangyayari sa buhay nila. Connection really matters. Kahit minsan, dalawang estudyante ng College of Education, yung isa C student, yung isa A student, pero mahirap yung A student. Yung C student, anak ng may-ari ng school. In the end, magtatrabaho pa rin malamang, yung A student doon sa school ng C student, of which the C student will become the directress or the head administrator. Paaralin siya, and she will be indebted, and she will be a teacher there for life. She might not be able to pull up the required amount of resources to run and own her own school, despite her or his grit. Connection is also an important component of success, especially in the Philippines. But you wouldn't probably hear many authors saying that it's actually connection that matters. So, but these connections are the sort of things that could not be exploited by the underprivileged, or the disadvantaged class. So, accessibility is also an important term in critical pedagogy. no, accessibility ng resources necessary to significantly advance in life. Okay? Bakit hindi accessible? Then the student should inquire about that, no, and find out why. Ito yung mga causes, and these are the roots of social injustices. Some people, some institutions, okay, cornered an outrageously, no, big amount of, no, an outrageously, okay, large amount of resources for themselves and their future family members. When in fact, if these resources are accessible to everyone, okay, everyone's needs will be sustained and there will be extra resources so that they could enjoy other leisurely things in life, like vacation, not in Subic, but vacation in Europe. But you know, sabi nila, ang situation sa Pilipinas, no, is like this. We have a big pile of resources, but only few people were able to corner most of these resources. Kunti lang yung natira para sa napakaraming tao at pinaghahatian itong mga barya. And this is what happened. Umabot na sa puntong yung psychology daw ng mga mahihirap, no, ay ganito, no, dapat magpasalamat ka dahil meron, no, kahit barya lang yung sweldo mo, at least meron. Huwag ka nang umagal, huwag na kayong mag-strike. So you wouldn't hear people, okay, protesting, no, against for example, Henry C. or the Cs. Wala na yung threat ng strike nung nakatulad meron noong araw. Inabutan pa yun ng ilan sa atin, yung biglang mag-walk out yung buong crew ng SM. Ngayon wala na yung threat na iyan. Okay? Well, there are other reasons. No. May mga bago pang approach na nangyari. Sabi nila, ang hinire ay isang grupo ng mga tao, no, na para sa kanila bawal mag-strike para sa institution nila. Yes. Pinagbabawal. So, but how can you make demands, no, if you are caged in a system like this? So, raising the social consciousness, again, of the would-be victims of oppressive system is one of the many concerns of critical pedagogy. Okay? And again, we could use our philosophical skills, no, or that we could get the students to use their philosophical skills to analyze their situations. It's difficult to put up a fight, defeat an enemy if we do not study our enemy. Okay. Tiningnan ko yung curriculum ng West Point Military Academy. Okay? They are big on critical thinking and philosophical thinking. The military leader, okay? No, the graduate of the school should be able to think in a philosophical fashion. Multidimensional dapat siyang mag-isip, no? He or she should be able to consider different possibilities, weigh the consequences, no, of different actions. Okay, ano yung best bet in a given critical situation? They are trained, okay, to use philosophical ways of thinking to make, okay, calculations, to calculate risk. So, from another vantage point, philosophy is a tool that we could use to solve, indeed, different problems. Not just problems in epistemology, metaphysics, okay, aesthetics, ito yung naging interest ng mga highly placed philosophers nung araw, especially in Cambridge University. Konti lang naman ang philosophers sa Amerika nung araw eh. Natuto naman sila talaga dyan sa Cambridge at sa Oxford. Many of them were students of Bertrand Russell, Wittgenstein, G.E. Moore. And then when they learned from them, they were sent back home and developed what they have learned, from the masters. Fortunately for them, their circumstances are more or less similar. Ours here in the Philippines is different. Certainly we could learn from them, but we have to make some modifications again to suit or serve the interests of our own people. Again, we could continue studying epistemology. But largely for me, yung exercise na ito ay mental exercise. That's something that we could use to address other pressing issues in our own cultural, economic, and political situation. So when can we possibly enjoy doing the exact same sort of things that they enjoyed in the Western world? Maybe, pag masyado ng medyo mayaman na yung bansa natin, we shall have plenty of time for similar pursuits. But our circumstances, like I said, is different. But we could use philosophy to address our own pressing matters here in the Philippines. So it's here that a critical pedagogy could be used. So in sum, some of the common features, concerns, themes of critical pedagogy are the following. It teaches students to analyze social, political, and economic situations and identify the root causes of injustices or oppressions. It challenges oppressive social arrangements. It clarifies concepts of equality and equity to enable the student to judge whether a situation in question is just or otherwise. It also clarifies other relevant concepts that I have already mentioned a while ago, and I will mention them one more time in a short while. And it teaches to enact tenets of critical pedagogy. They really have to be enacted. In a short while too, I will name these tenets of critical pedagogy. So here are some of the causes of injustices. Low quality education. Paano ba itong i-address, itong low quality education? Philosophers, I believe, are really needed. We are in dire need of philosophic teachers. Not only in philosophy, but also in science, in mathematics, in araling panlipunan. Kasi, halimbawa, sa mathematics, ang pinag-usapan ganito, ito ang markup price. Ito ang original price. Ilang percent ang tinaas ng presyo ng golf club? Kaso sa public school naman tinuturo yun, ba't golf club ang pinag-uusapan? Hindi naman bibili yata ng golf club yung mga bata, di ba? Pwede naman pag-usapan ang markup price, o yung pagtaas ng mga presyo, percentage. Pwedeng ituro ang percentage using contexts that that are familiar to many of them. Kung ikaw ay mekaniko, pwede naman ganun. Kung ikaw ay mekaniko, at may dalawa ka pang kasama at ganito ang hatian, 20-80 ang hatian. 80% goes to the owner of the shop. 20% sa inyo, ganito ang binayad sa inyo, ito ang halaga. 5,000 sa isang araw. Ilan ang 80% nun? Ilan ang 20%? Kung tatlo kayo maghahatian ng 20%, magkano ang makukuha ninyo? Pwede naman yun, di ba? Ngayon, ang tanong na, may hustisya ba doon o wala? Hindi yung mathematical question. But that could be imported to araling panlipunan. Yung question na iyon. So that way, meron pang continuity between math and araling panlipunan. But it's difficult, to develop a curriculum na merong continuity across disciplines if philosophers are not around to bridge, okay, these gaps. Kaya hindi pa pwede, para sa akin hindi pa pwede yung kayong mga math teacher, kayo rito from Mindanao, umupo kayo dyan, round table discussion, kayo dito. Hindi pa pwede yun, no? The divide between disciplines in our curriculum will never be bridged, okay? If we are going to stay that way, with our practices in developing our curriculum. Tingin ko dapat merong team ng mga philosophers, saka philosophers of education, saka psychologists, to make the exercises age appropriate, to oversee the development of the curriculum across discipline, and to ensure continuity, or to bridge the gaps between different areas of study. So, may hustisya ba? Husto ba yung 2018 na hatian? Ang barbero ba? Magkano ang hatian sa barbero? 60-40. Mukhang mas may hustisya pa sa barberohan. Di ba? Sabi nga nila, mas may demokrasya pa nga sa sabungan eh. Hindi ako nagsasabong pero sabi ni Larry Henares, you're looking for democracy, you will find it in sabungan. Sabi niya. Yung mga tao dun, nagsisenyasan lang, and they honor each other. And those the ones who are dishonorable, there's a cage waiting for you outside the cockpit. Talagang may kulungan sa labas ng cockpit. Minsan dumaan ako doon sa cockpit sa General Santos City. Sabi ko sa uncle ko, "Uncle, ano na yan? Yung kulungan." Para yan doon sa pumupusta na walang pera. So, justice is quick in the sabungan, and people, most of the people there, sabi nila ay honorable. Walang kamay-kamay, senyasan lang, and that's it. There's understanding. Okay. Now, this may not be the root causes of injustices. Outrageously low wages. Okay. Gender-based discrimination. Yung root causes ng mga ito, are probably easy to find. Halimbawa, yung gender-based discrimination. Nagsisimula pa raw ito sa pamilya. O yung ate, yung mga babae, hindi mag-aaral. Yung mga lalaki, mag-aaral. Bakit? May ganito nung araw na pananaw. Masusurprise ka nga kasi yung iba, author pa ng libro naging author pa ng libro yung mga lalaki. Pero there's so much bitterness in the family. Not in my family, but I know of a family. There's so much bitterness in the family, and this bitterness has been handed down from one generation to another. Mayayaman yung mga yan kasi sa kanila lang pinamana yung properties ng tatay. Bakit ba hindi pinag-aral yung mga kapatid na babae? Actually, yung bunso, yun ang pinakamatalino. I'm not going to name the author of the book. Kasi ang reasoning ng tatay, mag-aasawa naman yung mga babae. So, somebody will take care of them in the end. Yung mga lalaki, they will have to support a family. So, sila yung paaaralin. So, nagsisimula ito daw sa pamilya, nadadala sa school, and after school, nadadala pa sa workplace. And, the result is this. Kahit parehas yung quality ng trabaho ng lalaki at babae, more often than not, ang napopromote, okay, statistically speaking, karamihan ay lalaki. Kahit sa politika, ang naboboto ay karamihan lalaki. Mas maraming senador, at saka congress persons na lalaki kaysa babae. Presidente, mukhang hindi pa rin talagang ready, lalo na yung sundalo na magkaroon ng sunod-sunod na presidenteng babae. It's been observed na pag babae ang presidente, there's always a threat of kudeta. Kay Cory, nagkudeta talaga. Si GMA talagang magaling siya mag-spin doctor para hindi matuloy ang kudeta. But there was a consistent rumor that the soldiers are, again, playing soccer in the soccer field. Alam niyo ba doon niluto sa soccer field ang kudeta ng panahon ni Cory Aquino? Kasi, pag nag-uusap sila doon habang nagsasoccer, paano kang mapakikinggan? Pag lumapit ka sa kanila, no, malalaman na nag-eavesdrop ka. So, it was hatched right in the middle of the soccer field of the Camp Aguinaldo. Okay. But GMA had so many spin doctors at the time. Okay. We shall have more to say about that probably in a short while. So it's said that if you want to know what to do to improve the state of education of a certain country, then you must examine its culture. One way to tell whether quality of education in the Philippines is high or otherwise is to look at the kind of leaders that people elect to run the affairs of the nation. Low quality education. Evidence niyan, yung klase ng mga binoboto ng mga leaders ng tao. So we have marami tayong ebidensya for that, no. Yung mga incompetent na senador, akala natin na blessing talaga ang Facebook, ano? Panalo pa rin yung mga hindi dapat manalo, no? You can name many senators who should not be, no, there in the Senate. One of them, no, I'm a fan of Pacquiao, no, the boxer, but senator, we are not, no, fans of Pacquiao, the senator. Okay, sino pa bang hindi pwede doon? Dami pa rin. So yun ang ebidensya na low quality ang education. Di ba, ang education should also be voters' education. From where I stand, the most important part of our formal education is elementary education. Pagka-graduate ng elementary school, no, ng bata, dapat equipped na yan ng competencies that will enable him or her to distinguish between an incompetent, no, or between competent and a misfit in our politics. Why elementary school? Because statistics shows consistently that nearly half of those who will graduate from public school will not be able to set foot in any high school. And another half of those who will graduate from public high schools won't be able to go to college. Kalakalahati, milyon-milyong mga bata yon. So, yung voters' education, no, there should be a sound one in elementary school. We are probably asking if this is possible. Yes, this is possible. Pinag-isipan ko ng mabuti yan. Dapat meron tayong kultura ng reflection tuwing election situation sa school. Halimbawa, sa classroom. No? Mula grade 1 o grade 2 hanggang grade 6, hindi pwedeng ang election ay i-conclude within the span of homeroom period. Children should be guided, no? Should be guided by the teachers, no, in developing a set of criteria by which they could gauge the candidates, no, para maging classroom officers. And they should be given a week or two to study the candidates. If you are going to do this 3 times in a year, ibang set of officers sa first quarter, ibang set of officers sa second quarter, third quarter, 4 pala, pwede, second, no, patapos na 3 lang, no? If you do this 3 times in a year, 4 times in a year, 3 sa classroom, 1 sa buong school, di ba? Yung student council. In effect, if this will be done from grade 1 to grade 6, 4 times 6, that would be 24 times, no? Na inuulit-ulit yung exercise, no, sa pag-iisip bago bumoto. By then, we have already developed now a certain kind of approach pagdating sa pagpili ng leaders. Sa colleges of law, no, paulit-ulit lang naman din yung exercise eh. Ang exercise ganito, Mr. So-and-so state the case between Nebraska and Mitzgar. What was the decision of the court? How did the court premise itself? What was there a dissenting opinion? what were the reasons, no, for the dissenting opinion? Paulit-ulit yan, no, across all, no, the subjects, every semester, no, until they graduate from the College of Law. So, in effect, ang lawyer iba talagang mag-isip sa non-lawyers. Gaano daw katagal bago na-form yung legalistic na utak, yung ganong klaseng pag-iisip ng mga lawyer? One sem lang. One sem lang, nabubuo na yon. Ito, mula grade 1 hanggang grade 6. So, there's so much that we could do, to manipulate the environment, okay, to get the students to behave or to think in a certain way. Now, this is, I think, a good time for us to draw, to borrow something from Skinner, na hindi naman masama after all ang manipulation. We could do something in our environment. We could make some arrangements so that we could reshape the ways of thinking of our students. If there is something that we need to re-engineer, it is always said, okay? Culture yun dapat. Bakit culture? And again, critical pedagogy is big on culture because a philosopher observed, sabi niya, kung genetic ang talino ng tao, we should no longer be surprised kung naging matalino rin yung succeeding generation, the generation after the generation of Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates. Bakit nag-decline ang Greek civilization? And up to this date, hindi naka-recover. Ang mga philosophers nasa ibang lugar na. If you want to study philosophy, you don't go to Greece. What do we have there? Coffee, yogurt, I mean, if you want, high caliber professors, you will find them in Harvard, in Oxford, in Cambridge, in University of Berkeley, okay, and such like highly reputable institutions. Kasi sabi ni Weiner, hindi yan genetic lang. Yeah, merong role ang genes. Sabi niya, it's the culture that destroys, okay, the shaping of the shaping of the mind of the genius. The Geography of Genius, that's the book. Okay, if you have the time, you can read the Geography of Genius. Eric Weiner is the author. He's a traveling philosopher. It's an easy read, and he's really fun to read. Okay, if wages are low, I said they're outrageously low wages, what could we possibly lose? Ito problema ito. What could we possibly lose if wages are low? Okay, many good teachers, to other professions. If we are talking about the wages of, the salary of the teachers, many teachers would like to work where pay is good. Pay here is bad. Take the case of Finland. You are probably familiar with the case of Finland, but allow me to say it here one more time. Ang sweldo ng teacher, ng doctor at saka lawyer sa Finland ay halos parehas lang. Pero mas maraming trabaho ang doctors at saka lawyers, Lalo na yung doctor, di mo naman pwedeng sabihin mamaya na yung liver transplant mo, or transplant mo, So, at least ang teacher alam niya, bakasyon sa panahong ito, nothing will stand in the way of that teacher. But in the case of the doctor, a lung cancer or a kidney problem could stand in the way of the doctor's plan to enjoy leisurely moments elsewhere. And the top 20% of those who will graduate from high school because of this, yung sweldo ay maganda, decente yung sweldo. The top 20% of those who will graduate, nearly all of the top 20% graduating students from high school in Finland would like to become teachers. Ilang percent ang gusto maging doktor at saka lawyer? 2% sa bilang ng mga statisticians. If so is the case, matatalino talaga yung mga teachers na ito. Because top 20% yung gustong maging teachers. And you can't be a teacher there if you do not have a master's degree. You cannot stay in the profession. And you need to have your PhD to somewhere along the way. So this is how they benefit from the teachers. They pay them good money. They can't lose their teacher. They are happy there. I don't know if in the Philippines teachers are, well, that's not an issue. We lost many teachers. Not only to the United States, but also to many professions. Yung sana matatalino na tao na naging teacher ay naging abogado, naging doktor, naging engineer. So I have this theory. Okay? Bakit matatalino yung mga senador nung araw? Comparatively, mas matalino. Sina Miriam? Sina Jovito sa Longga? Sina Enrile? Kahit ganyan yung mga yan. May mga issues din sila. Pero cognitive pagdating sa cognitive abilities, wala naman yan sina Lito Lapid. Malayo. Okay. Mga presidentiable pa rin, di ba? Kahit maraming issues about them. Ang theory ko ay ganito. Nung nasa elementary school at high school pa yung mga yan, yung teachers nila ay hindi pa naging abogado o lawyer, hindi pa naging doktor, abogado, at saka engineer. They were still into the teaching profession. Somewhere along the way, okay, people became dissatisfied with the teaching profession. It's just difficult to support a family, okay, give them a high quality life, get them to enjoy high quality life. With the teacher's salary, it's too small. So, because they are brainy, they can become lawyers and doctors and engineers. So, that's how we lost some of our good teachers, not only to the United States but also to a number of professions here in the Philippines. This problem seems to be beyond us. Kailangan ng magaling na presidente dyan, to keep the good, the best teachers in the profession, or to entice high caliber or intelligent high school graduates to join us in our profession. Okay, number 3, gender-based discrimination. Okay, yung career advancement for women and other people with non-binary gender identity. Okay? Example dyan, same-sex marriage, which is of course highly controversial. Ito yung isa sa mga injustices na sinasabi ng mga ng LGBT community. Okay? There's so much discrimination against them. Okay? So these are all various forms and manifestations of injustices. Okay. So in sum, again, critical pedagogy challenges oppressive social arrangements or various causes of injustices. It also clarifies concepts of equality and equity to enable the student to judge whether a situation in question is just or otherwise. It clarifies other relevant concepts. Okay, and again, the purpose of the exercise is to enable the students to make better judgments. There's one point, a while ago, okay? The enactment of tenets of critical pedagogy. Tenets are principles or doctrines, okay? And some of such tenets are the following: rational inquiry, judicious exercise of freedom, liberatory education, okay, and participative or inclusive education. All of these, of course, carry various challenges. Okay, liberatory education. You are probably asking what this is. Liberatory education. Okay, that is having clear vision of the educational situation and its implications. Kung nung araw, limbawa ako, when I entered college, ang alam ko lang sa history ay yung sinulat ni Zaide. Okay, I saw my past through the eyes of Zaide when I was in high school, and there was so much memorization of dates, and other facts. When I entered the university, I found that we have different versions of our past. One was represented by Renato Constantino. Another version of our past was represented by Agoncillo, and they are by no means identical. So, na-deconstruct yung knowledge ko about history when I entered college, and I stopped believing, for a while, because I was told, don't just believe, if you have no good reason to believe, okay, something, you have to inquire first. So, can we fault Aguinaldo for the death of Bonifacio? Find your pieces of evidence. Support your belief with pieces of evidence. You read this person and that person. And I thought, nung ginagawa ko na yon, ganun pala, marami palang versions ng history. When I was an undergraduate student, I thought, okay na yung education ko about history. Okay. And I would later on find that there's another tension in history. Hindi lang yung tension between historians. There appears to be a higher tension in history, and that is the nationalist history written by a local author like Agoncillo, Constantino, and history written by the so-called disinterested party. Someone who doesn't have any political, economic interest in the Philippines, who happens to be a scholar of history, and he wrote about the Philippines without taking sides with the local historians or anyone who would like to project themselves as saviors of or introducers of freedom and democracy in the Philippines. So, iniisip mo na naman uli, ano ba talaga yung tamang history? Nationalist history. Pwedeng may halong propaganda yon. You can always present your people in your version of history as a people of virtue. Whereas in an objective form, wala namang objective form of history. But, okay, let's just say rationalist history. That's another term that they use. Rationalist history. Yung historian na walang political, economic, cultural interest sa bansa. Hindi Pilipina ang asawa niya o Pilipino ang asawa niya, hindi Filipino ang origin, part ng origin ng ng mga anak niya. Outsider siya who would like to write about our past. Di ba parang mas totoo yun? But I have yet to decide this issue. I'm writing slowly on installment basis about this tension in my Facebook group with my students and some colleagues. Not only in UP but also from other universities and other countries. Some of them are part of some of my friends are part of that group.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Kailan mo nasasabi ng estudyante na yung evidence na available ay sufficient?
Okay. That brings us to the next matter. Sufficiency of evidence is a very important issue. Okay. If there are 5 marbles in the box, okay, when can we say that sufficient evidence has been generated to fully support the belief that most of the marbles in the box are black? If 3 marbles have been drawn and they are all black, right? Yun ang sufficient evidence. Unfortunately, in many human situations, sufficient evidence could not be drawn, okay, so that we could make a final decision, as though we are 100% sure as to the certainty or truth of our belief. Let me give you an example. If your girlfriend or boyfriend tells you that he or she loves you, ma-generate mo ba yung sufficient evidence to fully support that? Kaya sabi ni David Hume, I lang saka you ang totoo dyan, yung love. It's a word in the wind, and into the flames it should go. But if you would go on further on this, okay, guided by William Clifford's advice, it is wrong always, everywhere, and for anyone to believe upon insufficient evidence. You won't be able to make important decisions. I will make a good president of this country. Nasaan yung sufficient evidence doon? You won't be able to generate that. You will have to wait until the person becomes president. Okay. Should we follow this at all times then? Everywhere. I'm going to give you a situation. You find yourself, okay, one day in the middle, you woke up, one day in the middle of a desert, okay, and you found a bottle of water, that is filled with what appears to be a clear substance, okay, and you're so thirsty, and you know that if you're not going to drink water, you could die within 1 hour or 2 or 3 hours. So, what do? You drink the substance, right? But you have noticed that what was written on the bottle, okay, is this. Either the substance in this container is poison or not. So, ano ang sufficient evidence to prove na poison yon? Inumin mo at mamatay ka. No? Ano ang sufficient evidence na hindi yun poison? Inumin mo rin. You cannot generate the required... Would you generate the required evidence before you decide? Or you have to do it first before you could tell with certainty? Marami tayong hindi magagawa at hindi pwedeng paniwalaan, if we are to follow William Clifford's advice. Nung bata ako, talagang I refuse to believe upon insufficient evidence. Talagang ganun ako. Pero nung tumatagal, nung undergrad ako nung tumagal, basa-basa ka pa ng philosophical materials, kapag isip-isip ka rin naman, edi marami akong hindi paniniwalaan. Di ba? Ang matitira na lang sa mga beliefs mo, 1 plus 1 equals 2. The sum of all angles in a triangle is always 180 degrees. Di ba? Okay. But that will not keep us from making a rational belief. Okay? Ang rational belief need not be grounded in sufficient evidence. Kasi ganito yun. Suppose you got pregnant. A friend of mine got pregnant when she was in 2nd year college. One day she called me, Mike, come here. I have something to tell you. She was really worried. I'm pregnant. I'm not the father, okay? She just wanted to have an abortion. And she wanted to borrow money from me. But I said, I'm anti-abortion. I cannot help you. But I will help you if you will give birth to that baby. I really helped her until her boyfriend abandoned her. Loko yung boyfriend nun eh. Hindi ko talaga nakita ng mga 20 years yata. Well, anyway, magaling siya. Philosophy major. No? Philosophy major. So, should I abort my pregnancy or not? She argued for the yes position. I will. She argues. No. I will not abort. She argues. And she could not tilt the balance in favor of any one position. Well, Clifford said, it is always wrong to believe anything upon insufficient evidence. Aabot ka na ng 8 months, nagpi-philosophize ka pa rin, nagpi-philosophical deliberation ka pa rin. Hindi pwede, di ba? May rational way of addressing the problem. Whether you will abort it or not, okay? You will have to make a decision. But at least inform yung decision. So yun ang solution ko doon, sir, sa difficulty na difficulty na yon. So, let's go back to the water. Should I drink it or not? If you will not drink it, 100% ang certainty na mamamatay ka. If you will drink it, 50% lang, no, yung chance. So what is the rational decision? Di inumin mo, di ba? Of course, that is scary. I don't want to make that. I don't want to find myself in that spot. Okay, but rationality is attainable. No, even in the absence of sufficient evidence.
Kasi ba't sasabihin sa konsedyante, wala namang reason para lukuhin ko kayo. Kaya sa ngayon, pwede namang maniwala mula ka na sinasabi ko. Kahit wala kayo. Kasi wala namang reason para lukuhin kayo. So maniwala na muna kahit wala sinasabi.
Maniwala lang muna.
It's not final after all, the belief.
Iwala lang, Bes.
Maniwala lang, Bes.
Okay. So, this is what I have formulated for the rationality position. It would be wrong for anyone to accept any belief if there is no good reason for him or her to accept such belief. Or, there's another way of putting that. Okay? Ang belief mo ay dapat informed. But philosophers really could be an annoying group of people. You know? If they find themselves in a group of people who are not interested, who are allergic to debate. We want debate because we want to be informed. Isa yun sa kultura na dapat makultivate sa mga elementary school students, high school students. Kasi, sinasabi nila, if you want to make friends, stay away from talks about religion and politics. Okay. Sabi naman ng iba, we can agree to disagree and remain friends. Ang importante, informed tayo. But, of course, all of us have met many people who are allergic to debates, this discourse, disagreement, issue, na nagpapalpitate sila kung may sasagutan. Nagpapalpitate kami. Totoo, may mga nagsasabi sa wife ko. Pag nagsasagutan kami sa meeting, natitense daw yung mga yung ibang mga kasama. Sasagutan lang naman kayo, hindi mo kayo nagmumurahan. You are just disagreeing. I want it that way, to keep myself informed before I make a decision. Before I would cast a vote. I want to know. I want to have good reasons no, for abstaining or for saying yes or no, okay, to a certain proposal. Okay, so the remedy is to inquire about the acceptability of the belief in question. Now, you know this already. I am saying this. You know this already. Okay, these conditions, no, that should be met. Okay, when you are assessing an argument. I am saying this one more time to send a message to all of us that critical pedagogy, okay, does not insulate itself from the practice of assessing arguments. No, rational no pa rin ang approach ng critical pedagogy nga eh. No, don't just believe if there is no good reason for you to believe. So here are some of the conditions to meet. No, and it's easy to remember them. The ARG, no, R conditions. R. The last R there is rebuttal. Okay, the acceptability of the belief in question, okay, should be gauged. Number 2 is relevant connection between a piece or pieces of evidence and proposition, good grounding, and rebuttal. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, this is just a quick review. Okay, so again, the ARGR conditions. Here's the proposition. The K-12 curriculum will result in the provision of high-quality education for the Filipino youth. Ito yung mga natatandaan kong premises, no, or pieces of evidence. Number 1, it will give the students more time to mature before they make career choices. Kasi nga daw, pabago-bago pag hanggang grade 10 lang. At least pag hanggang grade 12, hindi pa bago-bago yung isip malamang kasi nag-mature na, no, yung utak ng mga bata. Number 2, it will decongest the overcrowded K-10 curriculum. Number 3, the K-12 curriculum will allow its graduates to find jobs with decent pay in their selected industries. Number 4, the K-12 curriculum will make the quality of Philippine education at par with the quality of education in industrialized countries. Okay, you are probably asking this question. Bakit hindi truth? No, some of us are probably asking, bakit hindi truth ng belief ang tinatanong, acceptability lang? Kasi, meron ngang mga arguments na ang major premise ay should or ought or prescriptive statement. We should not lie. We should keep our promise. So we don't ask true or false, acceptable or unacceptable ang wider term. Mas nakaka-accommodate yun ng prescriptive or proscriptive argument. No? Or it could, acceptability, the question of acceptability applies to prescriptive or proscriptive reasoning. We ought to do this for the following reason. The ought statement is not a cognitive statement, but we could judge it acceptable or otherwise. So, the K-12 curriculum will result, acceptability of the belief. Okay. Ano ba yung mga beliefs na ito? No, yung una ay yung pieces of evidence. Beliefs itong mga premises, right? Okay. Paano kung mukhang hindi totoo, pero hindi mo rin masabing false yung statement? You're torn between two choices, no? Saying it's true or otherwise, or acceptable or unacceptable. How do we resolve the issue? The advice is this. Kung acceptability lang ng ebidensya ang tinatanong, no, just accept it, no, if the acceptance will not result in logical absurdity. A logical absurdity is something like this. A triangle has 4 sides. That's unacceptable, right? Obviously, it's unacceptable. But saying, it will give the students more time to mature before they make career choices. Yeah, that's acceptable. Alright? Number 2, it will decongest the overcrowded K-10 curriculum. Acceptable then, right? Acceptable at the time. The K-12 curriculum will allow its graduates to find jobs with decent pay in their selected industries. Well, acceptable then. The K-12 curriculum will make the quality of Philippine education at par with the quality of education in industrialized countries. That may not sound outrageous, but it's suspect. Right? It's untested. But, well, we could accept that, no, for now. After all, we are not saying that it's strong enough to fully support the proposition up there. The proposition that the K-12 curriculum will result in the provision of high-quality education for the Filipino youth. But, no, teka, yung relevant connection between the premises and the conclusion, no, is it there? How can we tell if there is a relevant connection between the set of premises and the conclusion? The approach is simple. No, just check if the premise set lends support to the conclusion. Well, meron namang ganito ang takbo ng ng premise. Ba't ka maniniwala sa kanya, ibuang yan? Hindi totoo ang sinasabi niyan, buang yan. Buang yan. Pag buang ba, hindi pwedeng magsabi ng totoo? Pwede, non-sequitur, di ba? It does not follow. Na pag buang yung tao, Brenda yan. No, kaya wag niyong paniwalaan. Ad hominem yun, di ba? Ad hominem. Argumentum ad hominem. Walang relevant connection. Kita mo na kaagad. Ito, it lends support. No, these ones lend support to the proposition. But the question on good grounding has yet to be satisfied. I would say that this is not grounded in strong or sufficient evidence. Oo. And now, we do know that number 2 was a lie. Hindi dinecongest ang curriculum. Dinagdagan pa ng maraming subjects. Akala ko ba iti-decongest? Alam niyo, natuto ako dyan. Pag mga ganito ang mga promises, pirmahan mo sa papel. Wala, hindi sila pinapirma, di ba? Pag ayaw pumirma, anuhan yan? No. Gulangan yan. Natututo na ako ngayon. Mike, support nyo to, eventually masasama kayo rito. Pirmahan mo. Pag ayaw pumirma, ba't ayaw mong pumirma? Usapang eventually lang pala ito. Natuto ako sa mga usapang ganito sa sa curriculum development sa K-12. The K-12 curriculum will allow its graduates to find jobs with decent pay in their selected industries. False din yan ngayon. Number 4, the K-12 curriculum will make the quality of education. Kahit K-20 yata tayo, hindi parehong Pilipinas. No. A huge part of the solution could be found in the teachers. Yung kakayahan ng mga teachers. Tsaka sweldo, tataasan yung sweldo ng teachers. Number 1, tingin ko totoo yan. No, yung tingin ko totoo yung number 1. Pero yung 2, 3, 4, they are false. Okay, we do know today that they are false. So, all the same, yung tinuturong argument assessment sa Logic 101 o Logic 100, ay magagamit sa Critical Pedagogy. Pero yung object of investigation ay yung political economic situation ng mga estudyante at saka ng mga guro. Okay, so there's an issue here. Is critical pedagogy an exclusive movement in education? Okay, by that I mean, okay, is it a separate movement? Okay, such that if you belong to another movement in education, say perennialism, essentialism, progressivism, analytic philosophy, no, we could readily say that you are no critical pedagogue. You can certainly count as a critical pedagogue, even if you are an essentialist, even if you are atheistic or religious perennialist, even if you are an essentialist, even if you are an analytic philosopher. Si Bertrand Russell was also a critical pedagogue. Okay, marami siyang trabaho sa education, no, whose purpose, no, is to expose the inadequacies of the existing system, no, during his time, and he introduced a different system. He ran his own school, no, if you remember. So don't worry about being this or that. You can still, no, be a critical pedagogue if you think, no, that this is a good that this could be a good part of the philosophical training of students. So could these tenets of critical pedagogy be carried out or displayed regardless of your philosophy of education? Already I said yes, no. Rational inquiry, judicious exercise of freedom, liberatory education, no, having clear vision of educational situation and its implications. Halimbawa, yung curriculum revision, pagtanggal ng Filipino, no, kita dapat yung mga implications niyan, no, ng mga estudyante. Participative, inclusive education. Okay, active. This is active involvement, no, in learning, decision making, problem solving, among others. Ewan ko, no, kung sufficient ang education in critical pedagogy ng mga workers such that they could actively participate in policy making initiatives in their respective, no, work, yes, environments. I think hindi, kasi mukhang yung ating basic education, no, does not cultivate, okay, the kind of thinking that critical pedagogy wants to introduce, no, in school. And most of these things seem to be in conflict with the philosophies behind, no, the many textbooks that were written in our school system. No, a while ago sinabi ko, ito yung mga values na tinuturo: pakikisama, pakikisalamuha, pakikiayon. Paano ka makiayon kung lugi ka, kung hindi makatarungan ang arrangement? 80-20 ang hatian ng kita. 80% sa may-ari, no, 20% sa trabahante. Yung bakasyon ng may-ari, no, doon sa Europe, yung sayo doon sa Manila Zoo. Libre ka nga, pero sa Manila Zoo o sa sa Subic. Pero yung may-ari, no, 3 times a year, punta Amerika, puntang puntang Europe, tig 2 buwan. Paano pala kami, no? So, kaya nga, importante din ang union. No? Karapatan naman yung pag-organisa ng union. Ano? Yan, isa pa. No? Halimbawa ganito . So ganito kung i-apply ang critical pedagogy in education. Halimbawa, state university, no, yung kinalalagyan mo. Government-owned yung university mo. And it's a college of education. Titingnan mo ngayon, yung mga administrators, tsaka ilang faculty. Halimbawa, 13 ang may-ari ng private schools doon sa state university. No? Doon sa State College of Education na kinalalagyan mo, 13 ang private school owners. And they are taking turns becoming a dean. And, you know, it affects, you see, that the curriculum development, no, is really affected. The college is being managed like a private school. So critical pedagogy would like to float that out, no? Bring it to the surface level, okay, so that other members of the faculty could, no, see the situation and the, no, trajectory of the development of, no, that teacher education institution. You begin to question things. There appears to be a conflict of interest. You are running you own a private school and you are running this State College of Education. And you are using our resources, okay, to advance your private interest for your school. And you, 13 of you, you are taking turns, no, doing these things. And when you recruit a faculty, you also recruit another private school owner. And this will be perpetuated. Malalim yung implication niyan. And when you teach, you know, you teach as though your students are private school administrators. You have to split, you know, the course outline. Now, part of the course outline should be designed to teach private school owners, and another part of the outline should be, the course outline should be designed to teach public school administrators. Or better yet, you tilt it, okay, to, no, the teaching of leadership to public school administrators. After all, no, this institution is a government-owned institution. We are not running this to suit or serve the interest of private school owners. Pwedeng ganun, no, yung issue ng critical pedagogy in a public teacher education institution. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I was invited not to talk about gender and development. And like I said, this is one of the areas or sub-areas of study in critical pedagogy. Okay? Gender and development is concerned with equality, equity, non-essentialism, no? The idea of gender, violence, violence against women, violence against homosexuals, stereotyping, and power. So you have to choose a specific. You might have to choose a specific topic, and this could be one of those topics. No, example lang ito kung paano kung ginagawa, no, at ina-apply ang critical pedagogy. Okay. Briefly, no, allow me to say that gender and development is an inclusive form of, no, education about a certain interest. Okay, that, no, and GAD could also be viewed as a movement, no, which presupposes that a widely, if not universally acceptable level of development in various aspects of human life, no, again, no, political, economic, social, cultural could not be attained easily without us studying and modifying the socially constructed gender roles assigned to us even before we started attending school. Okay, so owing to the injustices brought by assigned roles, responsibilities, and expectations, development analysts argue that gender should be examined and integrated into development projects. Okay. Gender and development is also, no, aside from being inclusive, it is interdisciplinary. Kasi marami itong pinagkukunan ng methods, no, as well as forms of knowledge. Psychology, sociology, not only philosophy. Okay. So there. Okay. It also seeks to understand and address the problems, concerns, or issues brought about by various forms of development. No, this could be economic, global, and their impact on people in relation to their gender and other forms of identities. Bakit mga babae ang karamihang factory workers, for example, in China? Isa ito sa concerns ng gender and development. Hindi lang ito ginagawa sa Pilipinas, no? Sa Africa, no? In many third world or developed third world is a politically incorrect expression. No? We are using developing, but actually developing means third world. Mas klaro yung third, no? So by third I mean developing country. Sa China, no, even if it is not a developing country, there is also some kind of, no, there are also various forms of injustice there. No, yung isa against the Muslims in China, yung isa naman against women. Mas mura daw kasi ang sweldo ng mga babae kung sila ay factory workers kesa sa mga lalaki. Anong klase yung trabaho? Parehas sa gagawin ng mga lalaki. No? Kung magtatayo ng sapatos, magtatayo din ng sapatos yung lalaki. Pero mas mahal ang sweldo ng mga lalaki. Mas mura ang sweldo ng mga babae. Ayaw ibigay sa mga lalaki. Kung walang sweldo ang mga babae, di magugutom yung pamilya. So they are forced to accept, okay, the job. But this is exploitation. And this is the sort of problem that gender and development would like to address. Or another type of problem that GAD would like to address. So I was saying a while ago that equality is central, is a central concern of critical pedagogy, and the same goes for the gender and development. So one way to teach the idea of equality, is to begin with Plato's view of men and women. It is said that Plato was the first feminist in the history of Western philosophy. But it's unfortunate, of course, that it was Aristotle's view of women that held sway on the matter. Okay, and up to this day, okay, ganun yung view nga, no? And this was adopted by the church. They say one of the reasons why there are no women priests, or walang priestesses. Okay, lalaki ang vicars of Jesus Christ. Okay. Gender, so ganito na yung titingnan ito na yung mga makikita sa gender and development, yung assignment halimbawa ng gender roles, which is a bad thing. But we don't say this straight to the student. We have to get the students to figure the implications of gender assignment. Even before they start attending school, this is a bad thing from the vantage point of gender and development, assignment of gender roles. So GAD seeks to understand how women and men are socially constructed and how such constructions are perpetuated up to the workplace and other settings outside the family. But elsewhere, the situation is a bit, it's not a bit, it's startlingly different. Halimbawa, sa Thailand, may makikita kang mga mason na babae, construction workers. Dito sa Pilipinas, mukhang mahirap maging mason na babae sa construction site. pwedeng masubject sa sexual harassment, no, yung mga masod na babae sa sa construction sites dito sa Pilipinas. Marami rin sa Thailand na nagmumotor ng mga babae para kumuha ng pasahero. Konti lang ang nakikita ko dito sa Pilipinas. Elsewhere, it's a common sight, no, na babae ang nagmamaneho ng bus. Dito sa Pilipinas, nagugulat pa pinsan yung mga tao. Kasi nga sabi nila, ang kultura natin nag-a-assign, no, na it creates a virtually neat divide between the task, okay, that should be undertaken by men alone and the task that should be undertaken by women alone. Yung pagbabantay ng bata, pangbabae yan. Yung paghahanap buhay, panlalaki yan. Meron bang libro, no, that seem to perpetuate this view? Meron. Sa Araling Panlipunan, inaral namin yung mga libro ng mga estudyante ko sa PhD level. Ang tatay ang haligi ng tahanan. Ang nanay ang katulong ng tatay. Ang nakasulat. That's really outrageous. Considering that the cover of the book states that it is K-12 curriculum compliant. What does this suggest further? Slovenly ang trabaho ng ating sistema. This does not happen in Singapore. In addition to that, in Singapore, ang libro nila may nakalagay lalo na sa math. This book may be used in school only until 2021 unless it was significantly edited. So may nagpe-prescribe parang gamot ang libro ng Singapore. Dito sa Pilipinas, hanggat may bumibili, no, or kung wala nang bumibili, edi babaan mo yung presyo para ma'am, school director or principal, bigyan kita ng pangbakasyon sa Thailand, no, bilhin niyo lang tong libro ko, mura naman eh, no, tapos may bakasyon ka pa sa Thailand. O di siyempre kawawa yung mga bata. If we are operating based on the principles of critical pedagogy, okay, this is of course a very important issue because the ultimate victims will be the students, and there's nothing much that they could do because young minds are inclined to believe that everything that the book is saying is true. Tapos pag ni-reinforce pa ng teacher yan, syempre maniniwala lalo yung estudyante. Ako nga, talo ako sa teacher pag sinabi ko sa anak ko, parang mali yan hindi mo naman mako-confirm yan Hindi, sabi ng teacher Hindi, sinabi ng teacher. Di, timing ka na lang kasi gugulo mamaya, mali-mali pa yung sagot, di ba? Pag may conflict ang parents sa teacher, natatalo din ng parents. Lalo na pag kinampihan ng may-ari ng school because anong malulus ko pag umalis ng teacher ko in the middle of the school year? Mukhang marami kung tanggalin ni Muega yung anak niya, anong malulus ko? Kunti lang naman yung malulus, pero pag teacher, kung marami pa siyang kaibigan na teacher, ma-disenchant, isasama niya pa, edi kawawa yung school. Politics, right? These are some of the difficulties that saddle Philippine education. Kita mo ng mali yung libro, hindi ka pa rin makaangal. Teacher, bakit naman puro memorization yung music subject mo? Hindi pa rin marunong kumanta yung anak ko. Alam niyo na, mataas ang grades ko sa music nung nasa elementary school ako, pero hindi na nabago yung music sa Pilipinas. Kung ano yung inaral ko noong 80s, yan pa rin yung malabas sa notebook ng mga anak ko. Musical naman ng mga tao yung anak ko, pero pag memorization, mag-aaway kayo. Teacher, puro memorization yan. Ganyan ba ang music education pagdating ng grade 6 niya? Galit na yung mga bata sa music kasi sa uluhan ng sa uluhan. Di ba? So, kasama yan sa mga kinikritik ng critical pedagogy. It's not only all about politics. Okay. So there, no? Marami na bang babae na taxi driver sa Pilipinas? Meron lang konti. Probably because it's unsafe, no? But you know, we could perhaps, no, do justice to those women who would like to earn a living by, no, driving a cab. Bus, Grab drivers, tricycle drivers, wala pa, no? So why can't Filipino women do some of the things their counterparts do in highly industrialized countries? What could be the reason? Ulit, ang reason ay yung early assignment ng gender roles. Yung laruan mo manika, yung laro mo bahay-bahayan, yung mga lalaki pwedeng maligo sa irigasyon, no? Pwedeng rough ang play ng lalaki. Ang lalaki hindi pwedeng maglaro ng manika, no? And so on. Ganun daw nagsisimula ang assignment ng gender roles. So gendered yung mga laro, gendered yung mga bagay. Okay. And this gendering, no, of things even before school, okay, leads to the gendering of the division of labor, eventually in the family and then in the workplace. Magpakalalaki ka, ikaw ang maging leader ng ating group. May mga ganun, di ba? So kasama din daw yan sa dapat i-address or i-neutralize. You're now hungry, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is the last slide. Generally, society is predominantly patriarchal. No, Philippine society, at least, no, yan pa rin ang na-observe ng marami. Of course, not in all families. May mga pamilya sa Pilipinas na hindi naman ganon. But then again, in many parts of the Philippines, especially in the provinces, okay, hindi naman nangingisda yung mga babae. Sila nagtitinda ng isda. No. But if you're going to read the history that was written by Will Durant, okay, Will Durant is a philosopher, right? The first farmer was a woman. Okay, she cooked, no, and she threw some leftover grains, no, outside the house, and she had noticed that, no, tumutubo, nagiging halaman, and then she started choosing the best plants, okay, and she cultured them, and that woman became the first farmer. She was not named, but in history, okay, my record suggesting that the first farmer was that woman. She was the first one to culture, no, the plant. Violence on women is nothing new in the Philippines. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng women's desk sa mga police headquarters. And even up to this day, okay, recently there was an incident in high school, no, in a science high school, where, no, it was alleged that some boys uploaded the naked photos of their exes, okay, on the internet, and this is a form of violence, nothing physical, but okay, it's not all the same. It's, no, a sexual form of violence. Marriage could not be availed of by same-sex couples. No, I've been saying this a while ago. And women's opportunity to contribute to national development, okay, appears to be limited. So, no, these are some of, no, this could be one of the things that could be subjected to, no, analysis or study by, no, some students of philosophy. I'm not saying that we limit, no, or we confine philosophy in the Philippines to this study. But okay, it seems it's not bad, you know, to get them to analyze, you know, some real life problems, you know, outside the domain of traditional philosophy. So we will stop right here. We will continue with, we will start this afternoon in GAD's integration with the curriculum. How to include this in the curriculum. And then we will proceed to, I will be presenting some more other forms of exercises that you could modify. You don't have to copy those exercises. Modify them according to your interest.